Hi everyone, it's Becky here from Ivy's Corner and I am back for day number 18 of Inktober Tangles 2025, and today's pattern is a grid tangle. We haven't done too many of those yet, so I'm excited to bring you this one today. And this is a tangle pattern called Middleton, which is stepped out by Yu Ru Chen, DZT. So I'm going to open up my booklet and get cracking straight away with this one. Now, with any grid tangle, the first step would be to set up your grid. So I'm going to draw a nice simple 4x4 grid in my little book here. I'm not being too precious about the specifics of this grid. It's just going to be a 4x4 grid and I'm just doing it fairly roughly. It's not measured or anything. So we're starting off with a 4x4 grid, although obviously you can create this pattern in any kind of set of grids that you like and mirror it and experiment with it in lots and lots of different ways. So there's lots of options for this pattern. Now the first thing, I'm going to show you the whole of one of the squares first, and then you can repeat this across as many squares as you have in your pattern setup. So we're going to start off by drawing, by marking in the centre of your square. I like to do this first because it just gives me a kind of a guideline of where I'm going to draw my lines. But the next step is going to be to add a square into the corner of your square. So I'm going to go for the top right hand corner here, and there is my square. And the next thing I'm going to do is aura that square. So inside it, I'm going to draw a nice aura band, just to keep that separated out. Now the next step on this is to then aura the remaining space of the initial grid square. So I'm going to kind of ignore this corner square here and then just draw a nice aura around the larger square that we've placed initially as part of the grid. And that is kind of now got two kind of auraed squares within our square. And then after this, we're going to join the point where this aura meets our sort of big first square here, this point here, down with this corner. So we're going to just draw a line between that one. And then likewise with this corner down to this corner here. And finally, we're going to do the same thing from this corner down to that corner here of the kind of auraed square. Next up, we're going to draw diagonally across our central square aura here. I'm saying the word square a lot. And then we're going to do almost the same thing we did before and initially, and just cap off a square in the corner of here. And I'm going to ink that in. So this is a little bit like the tangle Cubine within here. So once you've completed this is the basic step out for this grid square, so this fragment. I'm just going to add some texture into these triangles that we've ended up with here. On the step out, there are a few different suggestions for how you might like to add texture to this or add something, but I'm going to simply do some nice light lines that are coming out from this corner. So parallel, well not parallel, but just in line with the kind of big lines that we drew diagonally to the corner. And that is the basic step out for that fragment. So I'm now going to repeat this, and what I'm going to do is just repeat it on all of these squares, one after the other. So each step, each time in each square. So I'm going to do my square in the corner first, and then I'm going to aura this square on the inside, and this one, and finally the last one here. And then I'm going to aura all the rest of the grid squares like so. And so I'm just taking my time and drawing these lines as straight as I can. And finally here. So we've kind of got these nice auraed lines. Next up is to join the corner of the overall square with the corner of our little central square with a line down the centre, and the same here, and finally here. And we're going to add our little Cubine element in here, this initial square. Of course you can do this all as part of drawing this corner square. There's no need to say that you have to do all the steps in exactly the order that I'm doing them. You can, I mean, I've adapted the order I'm doing it very slightly from the step out anyway, so you can just do whatever works for you. And then finally, we're going to add these texture lines in here. Now, the interesting thing about this pattern is obviously because it's a fragment, there's all sorts of different ways of combining it together so that it looks entirely different depending on which way you draw it. So you could mirror this, you could rotate it, and it would give you a completely different sense of the pattern. It would give you a meta patterns, like if, for example, if you mirrored this side and this side, you'd end up with this kind of almost a star shape, which would be really interesting. Or the other way around, you could have all of these corner points meeting in the centre, which would give it a really different look as well. And that's just part of the beauty of fragments in particular when it comes to Zentangle, really. There's all sorts of different ways that you can experiment with these to create really interesting results. So now that I've done all of my pen work, I'm going to pick up my pencil and just add a nice chunk of graphite into the corners here. Now my paper is very soft, so I am being a little bit more conservative with the shade than I normally would do. I'm going to shade this in the same way as I would normally shade Cubine and just add a little bit here to the one side of our Cubine elements, like so. And I'm also going to add the same bit of shade on the opposing side of this little kind of column, this box that we've created, just to give a bit more depth as well. And you can already see, even without having blended it, how interesting this looks and how dimensional. I always love playing with the Tangle Cubine anyway, and this is sort of just an extension of that same kind of Tangle, really, in a slightly different format. So lots of options, lots of ways to make this look really exciting. And that is the Tangle Middleton by Yu Ru Chen. So we are at day number 18 now of Inktober Tangles. Day 18. This is Middleton, and that is set out by Yu Ru Chen. So there you go, that is today's pattern, and I hope you enjoy playing with it. Do hit like on this video and subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me on all the usual social media channels where I will be posting lots of things from Inktober this year, and I would love to see what you get up to. Thank you so much, and I will see you tomorrow.